Welcome to Module 3 Microprocessor. My name is Dimas Radityo with assistant code DIM. So today I'm gonna explain you about Module 3. On this module, there are three submodules: sensor, actuator, and interfacing. Before I explain this module, there are three objectives on this module. The first one is to understand types of analog and digital sensor, and the second one to understand the works of analog and digital sensor, and the last one is capable to do implementation analog and digital sensor with Arduino. Okay, next, the first submodule is sensor. Sensor is a component that functions to detect changes in the surrounding environment and produce output according to its function. The sensor is the main component of a transducer. The transducer is a system that complements the sensor so that it has the desired output. There are two types of sensor, analog and digital. Analog sensor is transmit information in the form of a continuous quantity, and the digital sensor is transmit information in binary form, namely 0 and 1. Next is the example of sensor. There are temperature sensor, light sensor, and pressure sensor. And next, digital sensors. Digital sensors are sensors that produce a discrete output signal. Discrete signals are non-continuous with the time and can be represented in bits. A digital sensor usually consists of a sensor, cable, and transmitter. Digital sensor is a sensor that produces digital output, which is sending a number in binary form, series 0 and 1.
Hello, my name is Aditya Iqbal Saputra and my assistant code is PAL. Now, I will continue the explanation of the third module. Now, we are going to talk about actuator. So, what is actuator? Actuator is a mechanical device for moving or controlling a mechanism or system. So, there are three types of actuator. So, number one is electric actuator. It's an actuator that has the working principle of converting an electrical signal into mechanical motions. Number two is hydraulic actuator. It's an actuator that utilizes pressurized fluid or oil flow into mechanical movements. Number three is pneumatic actuator. It's an actuator that utilizes compressed air into mechanical movements. The next one is brushless motor. So, brushless motor is a motor that requires direct voltage to run it. In general, this type of motor was developed without using a brush known as the BLDC or brushless direct current motor. So, compared to DC motors, BLDC has lower maintenance costs and higher speeds. Due to not using a brush, brushless DC motors are included in the type of synchronous motor. The next one is servo motor. So servo motor is a DC motor with a closed feedback system, where the system position of the rotor will be informed back to the control circuit that is in the servo motor. Servo motors are divided into two types, namely analog servo motors and digital servo motors. Next one is relay. So, what is relay? Relay is an electromagnetic control equipment that can turn on or turn off contactor. So, relay itself is an electronic contactor because there is a coil that will move the contacts open or close if the coil is electrified. Next is DC motor. So DC motor is a direct current motor that requires direct current voltage to be able to convert electrical energy into mechanical or motions energy. Now, driver motor. So the driver motor is a part that functions to drive the DC motor, where the change in the direction of the DC motors depends on the value of the input voltage that the input of the driver itself, or bias, or as a device whose job is to run the motor both regulate the direction of rotations of the motor and motor rotation speed. This is a driver motor, and this is a diagram circuit from the driver motor. So this is the table how the driver motor works. So if the value of A and B is 1, then the driver motor or the motor will spin clockwise. So when the value of B and C is 1, the motor will spin counterclockwise. So what if A, B, C, and D is 0? So the motor will spin unpredictably. Then next, what if the value of C and D is 1? The motor will braking, and when the value of A and B is 1, it's same, it will braking. And what if the value of A, B, C, and D is 1? The motor will be braking. Next one is PWM. So pulse width modulations, or PWM in general, it is a way to manipulate the signal with it announced with pulse in a period to obtain a different average voltage. The slumber width modulations, or PWM, is obtained with the aid of square wave, in which the working cycle of the wave can be changed to obtain a varying output voltage, which is the average value of the wave. Interfacing. So in this practicum, we're going to use Bluetooth HC05 for interfacing. So this Bluetooth module is an easy to use Bluetooth SPP, or Serial Port Protocol module, designed for transparent wireless serial connection setup. Serial port Bluetooth module is purely qualified Bluetooth v2.0 plus EDR, or enhanced data rates 3 MB modulations with complete 2.4 GHz radio transceiver and baseband. The interface used are serial RXD, TXD, VCC, and ground. The effective range of this module is 10 meters. Another example is SCSI, or Small Computer System Interface. So a set of standards for physically connecting and transferring data between computers and peripheral devices. The SCSI standards defines commands, protocols, electrical, optical, and logical interface. Okay, I think that's all for the explanation of the third module. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. See you in the next video.